Hello, my name is Autumn. I am from Autumn Acres Mini Pet Pigs. I have people who message me constantly, people who email me, message me, call me, come visit, because they want to know what it's really like to have a pet pig. What kind of pet does a pig make? So I have a little bit of an outline here that I have that I try to use it to let people know what it's really like to have a pig. So we're going to talk about that now, okay? Number one, pigs are herd animals. So pigs are very social. If you're somebody who works, 12, 14 hours a day, you're gone most days, a pig might not be for you. Pigs need that interaction. They do much better. If they don't have it, they can get very depressed and sad and worse, bored and destructive. So they need to have something. Now, if you are still like me and you love pigs, but you're not going to be home as often, it might be a better idea to get two, which sounds like a lot more work, and in ways it is, but they will have someone to interact with. It'll keep them from getting extremely bored and even depressed, okay? Now, if you are gonna get two, I suggest two from the same litter, because my next point is, in a herd, there's a hierarchy. There's an order of who's in charge. So if you get one from the same litter, they've already had that worked out. If they're from different litters or different ages, then they're going to have to work that out for themselves. They are going to fight, which is normal. It's not anything to be worried about, really. So think about that before you decide to get a pig. Should you get one? Should you get two? It depends on your circumstances. Now, along with the thought that someone is always in charge in a herd, so if you have one pig in your home, then you essentially and your family are that pig's herd. Now, that means that there's always someone in charge. That means that it better be the people, or else that pig is not going to respect boundaries, is going to could become aggressive towards those lower, that they view as lower on that totem pole. And so I always suggest that people keep that pig in its place. And when you talk to me later, decide to get one, when people come pick up their pig list from me, we talk about that a lot, and I show you how to do that. Now, the second point about pigs that makes them a unique pet is that pigs are prey animals. So they startle very easily, they don't like change. Being rehomed is extremely difficult for a pig. They don't do well. They become depressed and sad. Unless their situation is getting better, then I could see it's a definite positive thing. But for the most part, pigs get very attached to their family members. So I really am looking for forever homes, as much as we can say that's possible. Things change, but that's what I'm looking for. Now, because they startle easily, they do scare easily, and they are a flight animal. So if something happens and there's a loud noise or a boom or something startles them, then they're gonna take off. So it's important that the pig is socialized and used to loud noises and the life of a family, TV, slamming doors, kids running, kids screaming, kids laughing, kids fighting. It's important that a pig is used to those things. It's going to fit into a family environment much easier and much quicker if it's socialized from a young age. Because it's a prey animal, it has to be taught that everything is safe. Everything. Being held, being touched, being kissed, being walked around like on a leash, on a harness, new bowls, new blankets, new beds, everything. They have to be taught that everything is safe. And they take time to adapt to new situations, as I mentioned. It takes time for them to learn to trust their new family, to learn to love their new family, and for something I'll talk about later, how pigs are very food driven. Food can help with that too. The third point is that pigs are like toddlers. If you have kids, you know how demanding they are, and a pig is very much like a 3-year-old child. They understand what a 3-year-old child can understand. They can do what a 3-year-old child can do. I mean, they're pretty amazing. So, like a toddler, they take time, training, attention. They can get into things. So I always suggest that when you can't watch your pig, you have it in a safe place, which means you have to have a safe place in your home that your pig cannot escape from, that your pig can't get into anything that could harm them or your home. I always tell people I love my home, and it's unacceptable for my pigs to destroy it. So we keep a close eye on them at all times, and when we can't watch them, then they have a safe place. Pigs can be very destructive when they're bored, and I think some children can be also, so they're very much like a child in that way as well. Pigs have been known to eat holes in drywall, to swallow things they shouldn't, to chew on things they shouldn't, books, notebooks, homework. Kids, think about your homework, your backpacks. Women, your purses. I've had Topanga, she's pulled several lip glosses and lipsticks out of my purse and eaten the whole thing. So we have to pay attention. They are like a child. So if you're not ready for that kind of responsibility, a pig is not for you. The fourth point is that pigs are very, very food driven. So they'll do anything for food. They need to be watched at all times. I have a pantry, I have a refrigerator, I have a trash can. All of those things have food in them. And Topanga, she can't open our fridge, and she knows not to tip over the trash can and get in it, but if I turn my back for too long, I don't doubt that she would. She sneaks in my pantry all the time. She's gotten a couple bags of chips, some potatoes, a couple cans of bubbly, just like things like that. She can get into them, she can destroy them, so she has to be watched at all times. Being food driven is very good for some things. For example, training. Pigs train very easily to do tricks, to listen. Topanga does several tricks, and it's most of the time she won't do it if I don't have food in my hands. So she knows the difference. So food driven, good thing, also a bad thing. It's also important, like I already mentioned, because they're extremely food driven, they must be crated when you're not home. At least that's my opinion. Again, I love my home and I love my pig, and I don't want my home ruined, or I don't want her to get into anything that could harm her or harm her life. So I always try to keep her safe by keeping her crated or in her area when we can't watch her when we're not home. It's very important, because pigs are food driven, training is very important. For example, when I feed Topanga her food, it's in a scoop in my hand. And if I'm not careful, she will devour my hand. She will bite me, it will hurt, and she will try to get to that food. So in order to stop that behavior, I train her. I teach her tricks that she has to perform before I give her any food. So before I feed her her breakfast or her dinner, she has to spin 2 times, she has to sit, and she has to back up. And if she's moody with me, I make her back way, way up. And then I make her spin and I put her food in her bowl. So that keeps my hands safe, and it keeps her well behaved. She knows that she has to listen to me in order to get that food. So it makes it a much better relationship. She's much more pleasant and easy-tempered and not attacking or aggressive when it comes to food, because she knows she won't get her food if she is aggressive. My last point on having a pig is the best way to prepare. Okay, so the best way to prepare is continue to learn. Read blogs. There are videos on YouTube. Tons of websites and things that people have where they talk about having a pet pig. And also Instagram, I forgot that one. Also, while you're waiting or preparing, find a vet close to you that is not only knowledgeable about pigs, but comfortable taking a pig, especially a mini pig. Not all vets are, and not all vets are I guess, knowledgeable enough. They might think they know what they're doing, but many, many, many pigs end up dying on accident because of a mistake that a vet makes. So be very, very careful. Our vet is fantastic. It's Red Star Veterinary Clinic in East Canton, Ohio. I can't say enough good things about them. They are fantastic. I've never, ever, ever had an issue with them. And if I did, I really wouldn't even blame them because I trust them so much. Vet, very, very important. And you need to prepare a place for them, okay? You need to prepare a place in your home. Some people use like a bedroom, maybe an extra room, or a closet that is big enough and they can put maybe like a half door on or something. I have an area in my basement. I also have a crate, an extra, extra large crate out on the porch for Topanga so that she can be outside, but she can also stay safe. We have many, many, many people around us with dogs, and I would never want anything to happen to her. Plus, she could wander up into the woods and get lost. So we always keep her in a safe place when we cannot watch her. Also, it's important, especially when you bring your piglet home, you need to realize that they have a very small bladder, so they can't hold their pee in for long periods of time. So the space needs to be small enough that they can make it inside there. And then as they get older, their bladder becomes more mature, you can open that up a little bit more and a little bit more until you can train them to go outside. You need to find a good breeder also. Make sure that when you're looking at breeders that it's not somebody who advertises like teacup, micro mini, apartment, nano. Those people are, in my opinion, they tend to be a little unscrupulous because they are basically lying to you. There is no pig that stays tiny. If it does, it's unhealthy. It's been inbred, it's been starved as it was young. The parents might look tiny, but they might only be a year old or just a couple months old because a female pig can get pregnant around 4 months. A male pig can impregnate its sister in the litter at just a few, I think it's 9 or 10 weeks old. They can already do that. So just because a pig is small, be very, very careful. Also, you want to make sure it's somebody who socializes their piglets, because if it's not social, it's going to be a long, rough road. Whereas pigs that are kind of born and raised in the house like ours are, they're a lot easier. They know what people are. They've been introduced to many, many strangers, different kinds of animals. They're harness trained. They're actually litter box trained, because many breeders just bring them in for a day or two or even up to 2 weeks to try to litter box train them. And that's really just an introduction to a litter box. So these are the tips that I try to share with people when they're trying to decide if they want a pet pig or if a pet pig is right for them. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me or put it in the comments, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And I so much appreciate you watching my video, and please subscribe so that you can see my latest videos. All right, I hope everybody has a nice day. Bye-bye.